part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome back to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, back again with the podcast that has everyone saying, "Oh, Damon, Marvel movies? Really?" We are here to do the work for you because today we are talking about the blockbuster film, Madame Web, aka That's So Raven. Joining me today on this futuristic journey are two lovely guests. I've been circling the wagons. I've been trying to get them on the pod for so long, and I finally got them. It's a win for everyone. They're both first-time guests. Never been on the podcast before. Michael, can you believe this? To this day, I still find people that have been on this podcast. Our first guest is a sketch performer in LA and, not for nothing, a garbage person about town. Please welcome to your ears, Aidan O'Connor.
Hello.
Aidan, how are you?
Garbage. Yum, 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 yum. That's what garbage person means. I eat it. Eat
Oh,
garbage.
absolutely. I've met garbage people before, Aidan. I know what they do.
Mm-hmm.
My second guest is an improviser about town, and that town is Los Angeles. Please welcome to your ears, Nicole Werth.
Woo! Hi, Damon. Thanks for having me.
No problem, Nicole. Welcome. Now, let's just get this off the table. You both know each other, correct?
Yes.
Yes. We're best friends from high school.
Mm-hmm.
And we did see the movie together.
Yes, we did both go last night.
Okay. And I went on Wednesday, which was famously Valentine's Day, by myself.
Oh, yes.
Yes. This was I did a little Valentine's Day date for me. Okay, so let's just, because we've never talked about superhero films in general, so I just want to go to Aidan O'Connor first. What is your relationship to Marvel? Was this your first Marvel movie you ever saw? Please say yes.
It wasn't my first Marvel movie. I've seen Marvel movies before, but I'm not like a huge Marvel person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I actually do love Spider-Man. Spider-Man was probably my favorite of like superheroes growing up. I thought Spider-Man was so funny, and I actually loved the Tobey Maguire movies of Spider-Man. So yeah. But my relationship to Marvel is like I see it when I see it. If it happens to be in my vicinity, I'll watch the movie, but I don't seek it out. That's my relationship. So this was good for me because I would not, as I told you, I wouldn't have gone to see this movie if I wasn't on this podcast.
Well, thank you for finding the positive in that statement and not calling the police on me because I made you go see Madame Web, which for the record is the correct pronunciation that I will be saying, Madame Web. Nicole Werth, same question. Marvel movies, fan, not a fan, new to it. You? I'm so sorry. I'm hungover today. Did you like this?
No,
do you like Marvel?
Okay, so I don't know. I always get confused on what's Marvel and what's not. And I know I've seen Endgame because my old
roommate.
Marvel. Okay, that's Marvel. Yes. So my old roommate loved Endgame, and all Marvel things, and showed me Endgame, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. And then I've seen the original Spider-Man, and then I've seen all the Batman movies. Those are not Marvel, right?
We don't talk about her.
Okay. Yeah. So that just shows you where I'm at with Marvel. I don't really know. I can't quite, I don't have my finger on the pulse with that community. And I had no idea who Madame Web was in the web of Marvel.
Well,
love that. That was like very beautiful. In the web of Marvel.
Did you say marble?
Yes, I did. But I tried to skirt past it.
Not on my show.
Not on this show.
But actually, Nicole, you also set us up for a great transition into Madame Web. As a big Marvel fan myself, I cannot tell you how confused I was that there was a movie about Madame Web, who I knew. I know who she was. I know this bitch.
Okay.
I would never in my life have given her a movie. Like Madame
Mhm.
Web in the comics. I'm so sorry. This is the nerd portion of the podcast, where I have to talk about the comics. So this is the price of admission. Um, her whole thing is that she's like this ethereal old blind woman, who's always like, Peter Parker, you have to do this for your destiny. And she like exists in this astral plane world, which I guess is the web, that we saw in the movie. It was all like milky and hazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
the
hmm
web.
She was always like underwater.
Hmm. Like that's
Mhm.
usually where she exists. And in the comics, she's always drawn to me to look like Helen Mirren, like a very older woman.
Mm,
So when I saw it
Okay.
was a Man and Web movie starring Dakota Johnson,
right?
Dakota Johnson. Wow.
color me confused. I didn't know we were going to get an origin story for her. So this is even I can see it, but this is still pretty far from my Marvel comfort spot. But
I thought she looked great.
mhm.
I just kept thinking that over and over again. Like,
Yeah.
she's so beautiful. She looks great.
And I would
She
say,
did
yeah, that's what she does.
looks great.
She looks
Yeah. That's
I
kind of
And
the
I
thing.
wasn't thinking about 50 Shades either, because usually you think if I saw, well, we kind of chatted about this, Nicole, that it's like when you see those two main characters from 50 Shades of Grey and other things, it's like, wow, they are doing other things. And
Mhm.
I don't feel that way with Dakota Johnson anymore. I think
Oh,
she's
I
more
do. All I could think about was when is Madam Web gonna get spanked in this movie? All I could think about.
When is she gonna get spanked? I'm gonna before we dive into the movie. I mean, this is still about the movie. I'm gonna reveal something. I did not hate Madam Web. I thought it
Ooh.
was okay. I thought it was an okay movie. Listeners, my guests are shocked. They are covering their mouths. They cannot believe the blasphemy I have said. Michael, we may have to cancel the podcast after this because I think I'm going to lose my street cred. I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it. Uh,
Okay.
Well, to each their own.
Speak. Speak. Speak now. Please explain.
me to explain?
Yes.
I will happily explain. Well, first of all, I was very stoned because I was,
Mhm.
like I said, on a Valentine's Day by myself. I thought that it was nice that the main character in a superhero movie had such a passive superpower. Because usually it's
Mm.
like laser blasting shit. And I thought these kind of that kind of superpower of like seeing the future never really gets dramatized except for That's So Raven. And
Mm.
I thought it was interesting that she was trying to prevent violence from happening instead of inflicting it. I thought that was really cool. And I, even though she really only taught them
Mm.
CPR, I do like that mentor-mentee relationship. And that CPR did
Yeah,
come back. It came back in a great way.
I knew it would. I knew it
that
would.
was great. That was great.
Do we want to share initial thoughts or do we want to like dive into the movie?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I really do like what you just said about the violence and that like her powers were more passive. And I really hadn't thought about that actually. So that's cool that you said that. I think
you
um and I do think for me Dakota Johnson was the highlight of the movie.
know.
I thought she was really like funny at times too. Um But overall, I thought the movie was just, like, very all over the place, and
Are you referring to how quickly they would just go to Peru?
yes, yes. It felt like yeah, they were, like, swooshing everything in, and, like, there was no tie between these girls, like, the 3 Spider Women, like, they were not friends. They were
No.
not friends, and we
Mm.
never got to see them develop into friends. And that really bothered me because I couldn't believe that they would be doing all this together. Like, I don't know. It was just that was really taking me out of it. And obviously, I thought the writing was like cheesy, but that's
Yeah.
Marvel, right? Like, that's kind of campy, you know?
I guess. I mean, it, when it works, but
Yeah.
there was some cheese. There was a cheese filling with
Yeah.
this movie.
Sometimes the cheese is like yum, 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 cheese. And
Gourmet.
sometimes the
Mhm.
cheese is like sour.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cheese is
Yeah.
sour. I'm
Uh,
going on this cheese analogy. I'm really
well,
I'm interested.
Nicole, do you share this cheese feeling?
Yeah, I felt similar to Aiden. I felt like it was such a mess. Also, I similar to you, Damon, I took notes on the movie, and I did note
Ooh.
here to remember that we were both Aiden and I were a bottle of champagne, half a J, and 2 shots of vodka deep for the film.
Wow.
So we watched it. It sounds like we watched it in a similar state.
I love it.
Um,
Yes.
but yeah, I felt like I was having fun, but there were things that were so bad about it that I was getting frustrated. And yeah, that was kind of my overall vibe. Like certain parts so fun, certain parts I was like, "Oh, that's kind of good and interesting," and I'm almost getting invested. And then certain parts so bad, I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. Um so
Correct.
yeah, excited to get into this.
All right. I think we're primed to head to 1973 Peru,
Right.
um,
Yes.
where we meet a young Ezekiel Sims, our villain, for the movie. Aiden, you put a face on. Do you feel a certain way about Ezekiel?
Okay, what was up with what was up with him? Um, what was his deal? I do feel a certain way about him. I was trying to understand if his lines were voiced over.
I felt that exact same
Yes.
way. Like,
Yes.
I feel like they
Yes. There was
dubbed
some
someone else's voice.
serious
They dubbed somebody else's voice on this
literally.
Mhm.
actor. I was like, what is
Yes.
going on? It was
I
so,
really could not believe that.
it
My
felt
God.
His
jarring.
mouth would be moving a certain way, and then different words would come out of his mouth that were not matching the way his mouth was moving. Like I
And
was like, either they rewrote the dialogue or recasted the villain with a different voice, is
and there
my
I
were times
theory.
when,
look, I would say
oh,
both. I think both happened.
yeah,
Yeah, honestly.
there were like
Something was
so
up.
many times where he wasn't even on the screen, but he was talking. And I was like,
Hmm.
why would they be doing that if this wasn't a voiceover? Like if they weren't. And it was just like, that doesn't happen in movies. Usually you see the person talking when they're talking.
Hmm.
But for a lot of his lines, it was like not even, camera wasn't even on it.
Wasn't even on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thank you. I really thought that because again, I was in a inebriated state, so I was like, maybe it's me. Maybe
Hmm.
that's affecting
No,
me. Um,
we
but
both
this,
felt that.
but
Both me and Nicole were like, what is happening?
so this is our guy, our main bad guy. It's a great way, a great little writing lesson. If you want to establish someone as the villain, have them kill a pregnant woman. Because
Yeah,
that'll lock it
Hmm.
up real quick. Like, okay, you're not good.
you
Yes.
have
Nothing about you is
no
good.
soul.
Uh,
Hmm.
but he wants this spider. I was okay. That the spider confused me because he still had it in like a
Hmm.
terrarium or something, and I'm like, didn't
Right.
wouldn't he have sold it?
I think he
Because I
Yeah,
wanted
I
thought
the
don't understand
powers,
his
right?
intentions. I don't understand what he was trying to do with the spider. I was
Yeah,
like, I get that
yeah.
he wants it, but I don't know why. And then he had it in his house and he brought that girl home. Okay,
hmm.
now I'm jumping ahead, but yeah, he had it in that terrarium. And I was like, what? Like,
Yeah, wasn't it
you
supposed to be
stole this like
valuable?
years ago. Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
he got bit and he got spider power. Also, the God, the lore of Spider-Man is just like thrown to the side, which I guess is fine. I thought it
Mhm.
had to be a radioactive spider to get powers, but apparently it could just be like this
Right.
Peruvian spider. So
Yes.
these red people, thanks to the magic of shutter speed, zoom zoom zoom,
Yeah.
and get Constance Webb, is her name, Constantly Webb, and she's bit by the spider, but it saves the baby and not her. And little Dakota Johnson enters the world.
And I love that they're just like, this baby will know. This baby will know to come back to Peru and ask us everything that is confusing in her life. And we will be here. We will not have aged at all. And we will still be here to tell her everything. Like, that was a bit cheesy for me. That was some of that cheese that I didn't like.
Yeah, it is very convenient. We'll be here when we need the Peru set again.
Yeah, we need the Peru set. We don't
Is it-
leave. We
I
stay
mean,
on the Peru set.
Producer
Yes.
Michael did some research on both of you, and we have little factoids about you. But Michael found out, Nicole, that your favorite year of all time is actually 2003. Can you talk about how excited you were to see depictions of 2003 in Madam Web?
I was so thrilled to see depictions of 2003, the best year ever. My brother was 3 years old at the time. Post 9/11, we've recovered in a way.
In a way.
In some ways, in some ways, we've really recovered by that point. We're in New York City. Beyonce poster. I
Oh my
love
God.
that.
I love that Beyonce poster. I was like, she's always been here. She's never not been here.
Toxic just dropped #1 on the charts.
That scene, I know, and this is jumping ahead, but when the girls are like, oh my God, you're gonna love this song. It's called Toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I do think I am confused though. So the original Spider-Man, what year because didn't that come out in like 2005?
Like the very first Tobey Maguire movie was
2002?
2002.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. That also confused me because I'm like, are we going off of that? But then we get the reveal that Emma Roberts is Peter Parker's mother.
Yeah, Mary and Richard.
Mhm.
And then they say Uncle Ben. Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Scott
So
is Uncle Ben.
maybe they're on a different timeline than they are like, forget that the original Spider-Man came out in 2002. He was born in 2003.
Yeah. I mean, are they trying to set up? So if he was born in 2003, and let's say they want to jump to 2024, then he would be, oh, you're gonna hate me. I don't know, 25? Is that how that works? No. Don't do this to me. Michael, cut this out.
You'd be 21,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
That sounds right. Fuck.
Wait,
Oh my God.
yes.
Yeah,
21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Michael, keep all that in. So
We eat
Because
math
there's
for
new
breakfast.
Spider-Mans with that little boy, right? There's a new Spider-Man.
yeah, Tom
So
Holland.
it kind of works out for
Oh.
them if they just pretend Tobey Maguire didn't happen, right?
Yeah, and they love to do that.
Okay.
Marvel loves to forget about Toby. Okay, so we're in 2003. Dakota
Yes.
Johnson, paramedic extraordinaire.
Okay.
Yep.
Extraordinaire. I have actually an issue with that.
Aidan O'Connor, please. What is your issue?
This woman, both Dakota Johnson and Adam Scott in that paramedic car, as a woman is going into cardiac arrest, they're just
bidding.
They're like, and I think that Adam Scott is doing CPR with one hand at one moment. And they're just making jokes about it all. And in my mind, I'm like, this is one of the most serious jobs.
Yeah.
You cannot be bidding right now. And it really, but I think that angered me. And then they were really weird about it when that little kid tried to thank them.
Yeah, the little kid brought the little card. And I was like, this is so off-putting that they're both assholes to this little kid.
I think it's fine for Dakota because I think that's her That's her journey. Like she's very distant from people.
Right.
But I did like what Adam Scott was like, yeah, just take it and throw it away later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That made me laugh.
Which she didn't actually do. She saved it. And so that I actually think does show a little bit that she has empathy and care for other people. But she just is like awkward and doesn't know how to show it.
Yes. I would definitely say Dakota Johnson is awkward for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think we just go into the accident where she falls into the water, right? And she just gets she
Yeah.
she saves this guy. First of all, how does she not check to see that this car is teetering? She's like, I'm just gonna dive in.
Yeah. I'm
Gets
gonna
the
get
guy.
all the way in the car.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Which
I will
she
say
didn't even have
the
to do.
theater did erupt with laughter when the car went over the bridge.
Oh
The
no.
theater we were in was roaring with laughter at multiple points. I wrote down every time that the theater laughed at inappropriate times. And that was one of them. And it was truly shocking to watch her go over the edge in that car. Also, we skipped one line that the crowd erupted at, which was that when she was at home looking through her mom's journals and she said, "Hope the spiders were worth it, Mom." Crowd also erupted with laughter.
Hope your goddamn spiders are
um,
worth it, mother.
but yes, yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, and I am really just realizing now that she did not have to get inside that vehicle for any reason.
None.
The Adam Scott pulled him out the other way. So essentially, she was just kind of like he got out of the car and then she crawled inside to as if go to the other side, like a
Hmm.
little those little tunnels that like,
Yeah.
you know, and then it tipped over. That
Tipped
was so
over.
Yeah.
Dakota goes splash, and then she just I guess she needed a forceful impact to unlock the power of the spider bite. You
Yes,
know,
interesting.
I'm really being generous with that.
That's not
I'll
explained.
admit it's not explained.
Mhm.
Um,
But also, I was like, is this the first time she's been underwater her whole life? Like maybe it was that she had to go be submerged underwater again because
it was a water birth
it
in
was
that
water birth.
temple.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of water in New York City,
Yeah. Also, how did
especially in
she?
2003.
Do we know how did she get to New York City? How did she get?
Mm.
Did she have family? She must have had family. I guess. I guess she
But
had a
she grew
dad.
up in the foster system.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Maybe because she was an American, like the government in Peru was like, we go back to American foster system, I guess, because
Yeah.
so.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, we get so she can gaze into the future. She thinks life is but a dream. She sees trouble from a distance, but it's not that easy. Do we know what I'm saying? Michael, do
Oh,
you know what this is?
wait, re-say it. Can you say it again? Sorry.
Wait, what is it? Seeing trouble from a distance, yeah, but it's not that easy.
Oh, okay.
She tried to see
So
a
you're saying that's a raven.
situation, then
Hmm.
she ended up misbehaving.
That's so Dakota.
It's the
I
future.
just love how she comes out of that water and Adam Scott goes, "You went into cardiac arrest because you were underwater for 3 minutes." And she goes, "I'm fine. I just want to go home and watch Idol." Another moment of crowd laughter.
There was a couple shout outs to American Idol, and I was like, I mean, I guess. Like, it's hard because it's still on, so it's weird that because I remember that was a big thing. It was huge
Hmm.
in
It
'03.
was
Oh yeah. They're really
definitely.
trying. They were definitely trying to like get it across. It's 2003.
And I got it.
And I got it.
I think is this the barbecue? Are we at the barbecue? I think we're at the barbecue. Is there
Oh
something
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, and I just want to say this. I don't think it is the place of I don't think it's the place of a white woman to go to a black man's barbecue and tell him how to grill.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
seems
Speak
that
on
seems
that.
I don't think
I had
I,
that same thought. I was like, do you really know anything?
like to tell him in his house like what are you doing? Because he was like pressing the meat. I really thought about it a lot. I was like, how dare you?
Yeah, she goes, "Don't
Yeah.
press the fat. It'll take out all the flavor."
And I'm like, what do you
What?
know?
Also,
Dakota?
yeah, I feel like Dakota Johnson strikes me as somebody who has not grilled in her life. So it
Absolutely.
really doesn't make any sense.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me get that out. I've been sitting on that for a few days now. Okay. And then she starts seeing the future, which is like, and I also think, I don't know, it took her a long time to get what was going on, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and also she didn't seem her reaction wasn't very like fitting for what was happening to her. Like, I feel like she should have been like freaking out, like, what's going on, trying to talk to Adam Scott about it.
Hmm.
Like, I felt like it was kind of weird that she didn't talk about it with him because that was like her friend. And
Yeah.
even if his reactions were like, "What? Are you okay? You're crazy." Like, maybe you need to get your head checked. But at least she could have like processed it out loud with him a bit. She was just kind of like internally being like, "What's going on, mom?
Hmm.
Did the spiders worth? Were the spiders worth it, mom?"
Were the spiders worth it, mama? That's if Tennessee Williams wrote Madam Web.
Yeah.
I want to shift. There's another element we haven't talked about, and Aidan O'Connor, I want to go to you because producer Michael did some research, and you actually applied to be the assistant to Ezekiel, the woman in the chair that went to I'll call her Shoshanna,
Shoshanna from Girls.
Shoshana
Shoshana.
from Girls.
Yes.
Aidan, how do you think Shoshana did as the woman in the chair, looking at all those screens?
To be honest, I think that she was a little bit all over the place. I think I would have done a lot better personally, but
Yeah.
I think she's had this technology for years now, apparently. And the
Hmm.
fact that it has taken her so long to track down these teenagers, come on, like, you know where they go to school, you know where they live. She sees them all the time. It seems as though she sees them all the time on the
Yeah.
on all of these hidden cameras everywhere in the city.
And also, okay, I guess we jumped to the vision of the future, which is the only image of these Spider Women we get. So
Mhm.
these three women will grow up to become Spider Women. How? We don't know. We don't know.
Good
Did they all get
question.
bit?
Good question.
Were they all just bit by the same spider at the same time? Did they were like, ooh, a spider, and then they all three got bit?
Mhm.
But whatever. They get superpowers, they get costumes. Who gave them the costumes? Why does one have electrical powers? Why does one have spider legs? Why didn't they all have the same kind of spider idea? Like what was the meeting like for these
Yeah,
outfits?
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I have to decide.
Ezekiel has his vision. They're killing him, and then he tells Shoshana, "This is what they look like." I guess he sketches them, and she's like, "Got him." And she de-ages what they look like, and finds their teen selves in New York City. Talk to me about these Spider Women. Who do we remember? Who do we like?
I think that I had a hard time with Sydney Sweeney's character because I know that she's like an almost 30-year-old woman.
Hmm.
And I have issue with that. I have
Talk
issue
about
with
it.
Yeah.
people. I don't know the other two actresses. Like, I had not seen them before, so I don't know how old they are. But I'm like, come on, we do not have to be casting these 27, 28, 29, 30-year-old people as teenagers. And I think that Sydney Sweeney's acting was off because she was trying to play a 16-year-old, and it was
Right.
just not believable for me, and
Mhm.
I had a hard time with that. I had a hard time with that.
Totally. Real quick, I just want to say the one Spider Woman, Maddie, who's the skateboarder, that actress's name is Celeste O'Connor. So
Oh my
Oh my
god.
you want to have a little
gosh.
connection there.
Little connection. Gotta do some research.
Yeah. I mean, they were all cuties, but like, yeah, Julia was the like reserved one, Sydney Sweeney's one, and
Hmm.
then um oh gosh, do the names again for me.
Uh,
Anya.
Anya, yeah, Anya was like, what did her shirt say? I eat math
It
for
said like
breakfast or
I
something.
eat
I
math for breakfast.
Hmm.
Yeah, she was just like, I was like, you're not an actress. Like, I mean, you're just like a girl they found on the street. Like, I'm sorry. I feel like she
Damn.
looked into the camera like 10 times. Um, and then the sarcastic one with the skateboarder, I was like, can she
Mhm.
say one line that's not sarcastic? Like every single line she said was sarcasm, and I couldn't really handle it
Ye-
personally.
yes, Sydney Sweeney for sure she was trying something, and I respect actors who make choices. And for me, I was like, I think she knew what this project was, and so she was like, I'm gonna try something. I'm just gonna make a weird choice that I don't normally do.
Yeah.
But she was giving like nerd girl, like those glasses.
Those glasses. And it's
So big.
so big. And you know what that means. Nerd alert.
Nerd. She reads so much. But yeah, Anya, again, not to give away where I'm going with things, but Anya really bothered me because she was so bothered by everything. She was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like, what's happening? I ate meth for breakfast. Like, she was just so pissed by everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. You're running for your life. I think you would find if I was being okay, if I was being chased by a murderous man in a they don't know this yet, but a Spider-Man suit, I
Mhm.
would be grateful for anyone who wasn't trying to kill me, even if they were being
Right.
sarcastic. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never been in the situation, but
That's another thing, though. I feel like they don't have enough knowledge of what's going on ever. Like these three teenagers just like I would be like, what? Why? Why is he chasing us? We don't know
Yeah.
anything. Can
mhm.
you
They
like
needed to
they
have
never
like
really
some sort
question
of
it or ask more than just like
yeah.
I guess Cassie's trying to help us more than that guy that was trying to murder us for unknown reasons. We're just three teens. Like,
Yeah. I felt like they needed more proof. Like I think they needed to have a moment where they saw this guy almost tried to kill them and then she somehow it was a close call or something because that moment didn't really happen, right? She was just like, that's your problem, and then they saw the guy and they were like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like I would be like, what are you talking about? Who is that? I'm
Mhm.
not going with you. I would be like, so I don't know. They just
I,
went for it though.
they really went for it. My favorite thing when Cassie was protecting them was how many times she was just like, "Stay here. I'm going
oh my
away."
god, she
Yes.
kept leaving them. We
Yes.
said that in the theater too, and we were like, she keeps leaving these children to just
She
go.
leaves them in the woods. They're hungry. They're
Leaves them in the
hungry.
woods.
Yeah. Like she was just going to her apartment to look at her mom's old spider books. Like, why couldn't they have come with her and ate in
Exactly.
her kitchen? I just
Yeah, she could have
Yeah.
fed
And
them.
they could have
They
hung out with Kat.
yeah. The
okay,
cat
can
named
I
Cat?
go back
The
to
cat named
something
Kat,
really
yeah.
quick that I think we just didn't touch upon?
Yes.
When they're at the baby shower,
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
yeah, when they go to the baby shower, I think that all of those women were so unempathetic to Dakota Johnson growing up in foster care, where
Hmm.
like literally they're like, oh, my mom used to cut the crust off my sandwiches, like, ah, la, la. And then hers is blank, which is a wild thing to do. Like, just don't maybe put one in.
Right. She was like, well, I still have to do this, but it'll be
Yeah.
black.
I have to do it, but like she could have just not done it. That's a totally valid thing to do. But
Yeah.
she does it anyway. And then basically they're like, who doesn't have a mom, I guess? But no, they're like, why is this blank? And she goes, oh, that's me. You know, I didn't really know my mom. And then everybody goes, okay.
We're kind
Like
of
that's
about moms here.
yeah. They were all like, you must have some memory of your mom. And she's like, no. And they're like, let's change the subject. Like they were all being so awkward and
Hmm.
I
Mhm.
think rude, personally rude about it.
Aidan O'Connor, you said you feel rude, or you say it was rude.
I think they were being rude.
Aidan O'Connor says they were being rude, and I say it'd be rude not to take a break. So we will. Podcast 616 is going to take a break right now. And also on this break, we're also going to take a quick trip to Peru. So when we come back from Peru in the break, we will continue on with Madame Web. Got to talk about that diner scene.
Ugh,
Yes.
And
gotta.
I would love for you to tell me if this is how teenage boys really are. But we'll talk about that after the break. After the break, we'll come back. We'll talk about boys. Okay. We'll be right back. Bye.
Okay.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
Hey everyone, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of Producing While Asian. Join us in Season 2 for more conversations with actors, artists, producers, and more from Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond, every other Wednesday on the Press Play Podcast Network.
And we're back. Aidan and Nicole, once upon a time, you were teens. Did you ever go to a diner and dance on a table with boys to get boys to look at you? Is this
Yeah,
what it
well,
is? This what it is? Does this work?
we were teens together,
Mm-hmm.
as we
Sure
stated
were.
earlier.
Spider women in your own right.
Spider-Man in our own way. And I would say, yeah, we kind of did that every day. That's very typical for teenage girls. We would go to
Yeah.
Denny's. We would go to Denny's. We would go to IHOP. We would go to Saugus Cafe. We would just get on the tables and dance.
Yeah.
So that's your truth, but like just I don't know if I was being hunted by a monster if I was like, yeah, it's time to dance in public.
That was the most fun I was having in the movie, though, was that scene when she kept jumping forward and looking at the different, like, oh, if I go do this, if this will happen, so I can't do that, so I have to, like, that was really good, and I wanted more of that in the movie, more of her looking ahead and then doing something else, or even I wish maybe there could have been a moment where we went so far ahead and then we came back further than we were expecting to. Maybe a little
Yeah.
plot twist. That would have been fun. But I
I would
was
like that.
having fun with that.
Yeah, and that is cool. She's like the multiple, like her options. Like if I do this happens. Like A, B, or C. You know, choose your own
Mhm.
adventure, kind of a thing. Like where you like you read it like, no, I don't want to do that, and you go back. Did you guys read those books?
Yeah, I loved those books.
Okay, okay.
I'm just kidding,
Um, So wouldn't you know it, Ezekiel finds them as he always does, thanks to Shoshanna, and then which hold on 1 second. Let's pour one out for Shoshana. What happened to her? Does she get like a final scene?
No,
No.
nothing. We don't know her whereabouts. Also,
Mm-mm.
does she work from inside Ezekiel's apartment?
I believe she does.
Yeah.
How
They
strange.
just kind of were like, he's dead, she's gone now. I was sorry
And-
to jump ahead, but you know.
And how do
Yeah,
they?
we never.
No, sorry, Nicole. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say we never find out what happens to her, and I did notice that, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
She would obviously be like out of a job. And she's there with the spider, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did she steal the spider to finally sell it with money? Did she get herself spider powers? Shosh. Okay.
We want to know what
Inquiring
happened.
minds want to know.
I also like there's
oh.
no understanding of like how they know each other. Like she's just there and it's just like, okay, he's got this like tech girl living in his apartment with him, doing like searching for teenagers to kill.
Yeah.
And we're just like, okay.
Oh, and also we haven't mentioned he's got touch of death powers. Like if he just he can secrete
Yeah.
poison from his palm into
Mhm.
people. So great boss. Would love
Mhm.
would love to have that threat over me every day.
Yeah. It would make me
Um,
work so much better.
mhm.
He's so much more proactive.
So we're at the diner and Dakota Johnson, she gets the
Mhm.
girls away, destroying that diner. A lot of property destroyed by Dakota Johnson in this movie.
Right.
And a lot of cars stolen. She stole a taxi cab, an ambulance.
That was one of my
Yes.
favorite parts actually when because I was not expecting that when she actually just drives into the diner and his
Mhm.
body truly like a like crash dummy just like flies into the air.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was very hilarious to me and also just
Yeah.
I didn't expect her. I expected her to like go in kind of like a badass. But like
Hmm.
you said, Damon, earlier, she doesn't really have any sort of power that would allow her to overtake somebody like that. So
Yeah.
she has to use cars, not to jump ahead
Mhm.
multiple times, to truly run into this man, and he does not die.
Yeah.
But she
Hmm.
hits him with a car multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I liked that this movie did, because again, I think it's fine. Sorry, haters. Sorry to the 17% it has on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Uh, but I liked that, she has this future seeing ability, and I like that her villain. Because usually when this happens, it would be like another person who can see the future, which I guess he can. But I like that he is like a
Mhm.
physical force, and she's still fighting him, just with her like future seeing abilities.
I think that is cool. I do think that is cool, and that is something I did not think about when we watched it, and I agree. That is kind of cool.
Oh yeah. So Dakota takes the girls, gives them to Ben and Mary. Love brother sister combo here.
Mhm.
And then producer Michael did more research on you, Nicole, and we found not only is 2003 your favorite year, but your favorite country is Peru. So
Peru.
how did you like this Peru to New York pipeline that we had here?
I did write I did write in my notes. I said she's going to Peru. Dot dot dot. I'm struggling at this point. I think this is the worst movie I've ever seen in a movie theater, and I am so frustrated. So that's where I was at in the Peru scene.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was struggling. I was out. I was full of popcorn. My Sprite was empty.
Hmm.
And she's going to Peru. And I could not believe my eyes. And she really got there fast. She
So
really
fast.
got there fast.
Yeah,
I
Also, I
she
love
could
when
just
Adam,
buy a
she,
ticket to Peru next day. Like that must have
yeah.
been so
yeah,
expensive.
I mean, I don't. We. That's the thing we did not research of like what a airplane ticket was in 2003 from New York to Peru. Like to just cash like, okay, you're gonna stay with my friend Ben. I have to go to Peru. Bye.
yeah.
And it wasn't questioned at all by the girls either. They all
Mm-mm.
were like, I think it was maybe Anya when
Of course, it was Anya.
of course it was, of course. But when she is like, I know what I need to do. And then Anya and Dakota Johnson, who I will only call Dakota Johnson. I keep not calling her by the name of
Cassie Webb.
Cassie Webb. They both were like, go to Peru. It was almost like they had the same, and everybody was like, yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta go. You gotta leave us while this man is hunting us.
Leave us with a paramedic and a pregnant woman to protect us,
Yeah.
because of course.
Hmm.
So we go to Peru. Nicole, since you were struggling, did you find any joy in the fact that we were back in Peru?
Mm, no. I mean, they went into the cave where she was born. That was cool. And then he said, "Do
Yeah.
you trust me?" Threw her in, right? Threw her
Oh
in.
God. Threw her soul into
And
the
then,
into the water.
yes. And then she went
Yeah.
back and saw that her mom went to the Amazon because her pregnancy wasn't going well. And
Yeah.
so she was like, the only way I can save my pregnancy is to go to the Amazon. And then Dakota Johnson said, "You did it." And like they hugged.
Right?
Um, yeah, but the whole theater did erupt with laughter when she said you did it. It was so wild. Like it was meant to be this tender full circle moment for the mom character, and
Hmm.
it wasn't landing. And I do think maybe if I had seen the movie earlier in its release, I wouldn't have had such a uproarious Friday night crowd who laughed at every sentimental sweet moment the entire movie had. But I was like, I guess it is pretty funny that this is happening right now. I don't really know why this movie was made, and I don't really know what is going on.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I
That's
was
a
in a state of
That was
I
such
was not in
an
the movie at this
earnestly
point.
sweet way that you said something like so. I honestly just don't know why this movie was made or what was going on.
I
I was just, yeah.
I mean, I would agree. I thought that going in, a lot of like, why did they make this movie? Why her? Why Madam Web? But
Mhm.
Mhm.
I do see it is funny to just learn about something and then be like, and you did it. Like
Yeah.
she had no
Mhm.
idea she had this infantile disease and her mother saved her.
But also in that
Yeah.
moment when they're actually hugging, it's like, what? How? You were an
Well,
observer?
also,
I was
also,
seeing this as like a Christmas Carol type situation where it's like
y-
Mhm.
she's
right.
observing the past
Mhm.
and but nobody is can see her or knows that she's there. And then all of a sudden they completely broke that just
Right.
so that mom and her could hug.
And sorry, one more thing. They introduced the mom in the beginning as she's looking for this spider and she finds it and then she gets shot and killed. But then they introduced, no, she was actually in the Amazon because of her pregnancy going bad. But so it was just like a lot of different things going on where it was
Mhm.
like she's in the Amazon looking for the spider, but she's also there because of a weird, like, I guess, alternative medicine.
Right. That spider venom was what she wanted because that venom and it did. It healed
Saved
her
her.
baby Dakota.
So that's why she wanted the spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that I didn't get that
I'm getting that
till
now.
now?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I will say, Nicole, not to be rude, but I think that's something that you just missed.
Okay,
I
Wow.
think
yeah.
actually,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I think actually the movie did a good job. I will give it this. I think it did a good job of making that clear.
Okay, that was just me. That was me.
Yeah,
I
but also
think that was
Nicole.
the bottle of champagne, the joint, and
Mm,
the 2 shots deep that we did.
For sure, for sure. That's where it ties in.
but but Nicole, I will give you this that this movie does a lot of bad things that it's okay that you that you just assume they miss because it did miss a lot of other things. I
Okay,
think we're
I appreciate that. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
How are we okay? Or how are we doing? I don't want Madam Web to break us.
I
We're
think it's
doing
going to
so
break us. I
good.
think that Nicole and I's friendship is on the rocks right now because of this.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys need to keep it together because Mary Parker just went into labor and they have to take her to the hospital. You have to take because when you're looking after three teens who are being hunted by a spider person, you have to take them with you everywhere you go. Emma Roberts goes into labor. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy Emma Roberts in this role. She does not give me mother. She gives me teen
Mhm.
witch, and she always will. From Coven.
Yes.
Mhm, mhm.
And what's the gift that everyone uses like surprise, bitch? Uh,
Yes.
but she goes into labor. The Spider Girls and Adam Scott hop in the car, and then Shoshana is like, "Bam, found her." Um, they get
So fast.
so fast. And that's how the government watches us, all of us.
Hmm.
And,
Mhm,
and
mhm. It makes you think.
it really makes Madam Web really makes you think. How, question for the court, how is it that Dakota Johnson got from Peru
Right.
to fucking what looked like Times Square, New York, in the nick of time? What is her flight plan? Did she fly the plane
Right.
herself?
Was she already on her way?
Mhm.
Like, was there a private jet that picked her up? And it goes again, like, how can she just buy a ticket so fast? Like, those tickets must have been expensive.
Especially,
And
yeah, international travel.
yeah, I think that you're right. I didn't think that too much either. I just accepted it, but that's pretty wild. I don't know how she could have gotten there.
Right.
And
Oh, continue.
well, I think maybe we're just supposed to accept that like what's happening in Peru and what's happening in New York are like a bit of like time jumps. Like they're not existing in the same day
Hmm.
necessarily. So
Hmm.
it's like when we're in Peru, you know,
It's maybe a little. I can see that where it's like
yeah,
it's a little bit before the events in New York.
yes. It's earlier in the week, events in New York later in the week.
No,
Sure, sure,
I couldn't.
sure.
I could not handle it. I could not handle the pacing at all. It was like all over. I couldn't handle it. I was like, what is going on?
Did you handle the conveniently placed fireworks factory?
For
It's
some
like,
reason, that one went down a little easier for me.
really?
That one went down a little easier. Yeah, a little easier for some reason. Can't really explain why. The CGI fireworks also at this point were going down easy. I was like, yeah, burst some CGI fireworks. Do what you got to do. We got to get some action going. I was so bored at this point and frustrated that I was like, let's go. Let's blow stuff up. Let's fight.
Yeah,
Let's
blow his
fight.
ass up. I
Blow.
it was I do have to comment that it was interesting as a fan of Spider-Man to see somebody doing the moves of Spider-Man, but he's the villain and not being thrilled by him jumping. Like there was fireworks going off and he was jumping over, and I was like, oh, this should be scary, but I'm still like, go, Spidey, go.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, so they set up some fireworks, they go to the roof. We're coming to the end. Yeah, Dakota calls it a helicopter, they're gonna get him. We're yada yada yadaing the third act. Is there anything we have to talk about? Because I really don't want to talk about the web of life. That looked bad. That looks so bad. And I think this movie's okay, but when Dakota was in multiple places at once, it looked awful.
When she was like, "I've got you," and her little like
Take my
ghost.
hand.
Yeah,
Everything
my
will
hand.
be okay.
it was
Yeah.
interesting.
I'm like, girl, I'm falling.
I'm
Don't tell me it's gonna be
falling, and you're
okay.
like
Help me.
a ghost. I can't grab you.
Oh no.
I felt
No.
embarrassed for everyone involved with that movie on that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me too.
I felt embarrassed for most people throughout, but I do think that was that was a tough moment. And
Mhm.
it's interesting because, like, as they're like, I guess we're supposed to accept that now she is gaining control over her powers. So
Yeah.
she's able to like see like, okay, don't step there. Don't step there. We have to walk this way. But
Mhm.
she had the wrong vision about the helicopter, which is interesting to me because she has like the sixth sense that they're going to get onto the helicopter and be safe, but
True.
then the helicopter blows up. And I was
Yeah.
interested in how and why she didn't see that
Yeah.
and why the future was actually incorrect that she saw.
I wonder if it's because Ezekiel can also see the future, and this is the lore of the movie that future seers
Oh,
can change the future.
Okay.
okay.
Not to defend Madam Web too much.
No, please. I would like this.
Hmm.
I like this conversation.
This I like.
This I like.
Okay, this is the last call. Anything we want to talk about? Anything that hasn't been touched? Anything from your notes? Anything you want to bring up? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I
I'm
only
never
have a
talking about
couple
this
more
movie again.
notes. I just wrote, Aidan whispered to me they're gonna give her CPR, and then they did.
Because she taught
I did
them.
like that moment.
Mm.
I liked that moment.
Yes.
I did
That
like
was good for me. I did have a thought to myself where I was like, you know, if an EMT IRL brought their kids to the movie, they could be like, that's your parents' job. I'm a superhero too. Saving lives and is, I was like, this is real superhero stuff, real life superhero stuff, CPR.
Real-
Everyone
Mhm.
should get certified, everyone should learn. I liked that moment. I
Agreed.
didn't understand what was wrong with her eyes. I loved when she came out with the Gucci glasses at the end, serving absolute mother. Absolute mother. I was obsessed with her look in that last
Gucci.
scene.
I
Oh,
do
and
feel like the injuries were not explained well. Like it was kind of a shocking thing to see that she had lost like her sight and ability to walk.
yes.
And that was like, huh. So from falling in the water again? What happened there?
Well, she
She
fell in
fell
the
in the
water.
water and she got like electrocuted?
Something hit her in the face. Like one of the things that there was like a shot where like if it was like a piece of shrapnel or something from the building, like smacked her in the face and she lost her eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
Also, producer Michael has not seen this movie, so spoilers. Sorry, man.
Oh my
That is
god.
so funny. I would say don't. I would say wait till it's out of theaters.
Yeah.
We went all the way. We got the recliners and everything, AMC, IMAX. We spent the big top dollar.
Ooh.
The big top dollar.
That's what I will say. I also watched it in IMAX, and the sound, like, I think it did a good job with the audio. Sorry to go, whatever. It's a Marvel podcast. I'll be nerdy. And it helped when like things were repeating, like in that baby shower scene when the balloon popped. There's like a lot of
Yes.
sonic memory things of like, oh, that sound is being repeated. So if you gotta see it in IMAX.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the way. But other than that, you can wait. You can wait. You just heard it from us. You heard everything you need to know.
You can wait to see Madam Web, but what you don't have to wait for is Fuck, Marry, Kill. Ooh, it is time for our final segment of the podcast, Fuck, Marry, Kill. On the docket today is, of course, the three Spider women. I will remind you of their names and also the actresses that played them and anything to help you remember who they are. Julia Cornwall, played by Sydney Sweeney. Anya Corazon, played by Isabella Merced. And Maddie Franklin, played by Celeste O'Connor, relative of Aidan O'Connor,
God,
TBD.
I love that now. Now I'm so happy we have the same last name.
Could it play a role in Aidan's answer? Stay tuned to find out. I will go first to give my guests time to think. I will kill Anya.
That was so easy for you.
So easy for me. I hate a downer. Maybe it's because of all the improv I do. I'm like, why are you not saying yes and to this adventure? Like, say yes and see what comes from that. Anya, she's such a downer, and I know her dad was deported, and that's very sad and fucked up. But in this game we play, I'm gonna throw her to Ezekiel and let him get his future revenge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck Maddie, skateboarder girl. You know, she was a skater girl. She said, "See you later, girl." Um,
I think Maddie, those kind of queer coded, if I'm being honest.
a little bit, yeah. So I don't know if we're the same kind of queer, but you know, we'll find it. We'll meet in the middle. We'll find each other. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna marry Julia. You know, I didn't get the Sydney Sweeney love because I don't watch Euphoria. I've only seen her in the first season of The White Lotus. But I dug her nerd stuff. I love her big ass glasses and that her family doesn't care about her. It endeared her to me. She was like, "Oh, what was the thing? Her dad had a new wife. Oh, she was at the hospital and her little brother was saved by Dakota Johnson, and that scene where the dad's like, "Oh, let's go see our," or maybe it was his wife or something, and he was like, "You can go home. We don't need you for this. She doesn't want to see you. I want to see her. I will marry her. That is my wife." Okay. Aidan O'Connor.
Oh
Over to
my
you
God.
first. I went alphabetically. So first fuck, marry, kill at the podcast for you. Who are your picks?
Okay. Well, the thing is, now that I know we're relatives, I can't fuck Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't kill her because she's family. So I'm going to marry her.
Okay. You could marry family. You wanted to change your last name.
You would say keep we'll have a platonic marriage and it'll be open and yeah. I think that I would kill Sydney Sweeney's character. I didn't like the acting choices for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No judgment.
So cute.
Don't
In
even
an
look at my
ideal
face.
world, I wouldn't want to kill any of them.
Right.
But I would kill Julia.
Julia.
Yeah, Julia.
And I think I would fuck Anya. I think that for me, I kind of was into the math stuff. I kind of thought she was very responsible. And Damon, the Virgo in me was like, yeah, she is trying to keep things on track here. She's trying to be maybe analytical about stuff. And I think that we could have some good conversations. So it would be like one of those situationships where we like fuck and we talk.
Those are nice. Yes, listener Aidan is trying to evoke our shared Virgo sun, but I do have to tell Aidan that I am more identifying with my Scorpio moon these days. But
Wait, I also have a Scorpio moon.
girl, okay, we'll talk about this offline.
We have to talk about that.
That's interesting. I need to know your rising. Nicole Werth, please. Who are your picks?
Okay. I would fuck the skateboarder. What's her name again?
Maddie.
Maddie. I would fuck Maddie because she was so sarcastic, and I'm like, I feel like we could have fun with that.
Mhm.
And she kept saying, "Oh, now you're showing off," to Dakota Johnson. "Oh, now you're really showing off." And I'm like, you could say that to me, in a different context. And then I could kill shoot, I don't want to marry the math girl. I think I'll kill Anya, the math girl, because she was truly insufferable as a character. Sorry. And then I would
Sorry, don't look at us, don't look at us.
I would marry
Sydney.
Sydney Sweeney Julia because she's hot. She's so hot. And that's all I want in a woman is hot. I just want a hot wife. I just want a trophy wife, hot, nerdy, hot wife. I'm going to stick with that.
A classic Nicole answer if I've ever heard one.
Thanks, Damon.
You know what, though, is good about marrying Maddie's character?
What?
She's rich.
She is rich. Oh, I didn't think about that.
You guys didn't think it through, did you?
Yeah.
I'm out here. I'm vacationing. I'm going on many trips with
Sorry,
her.
Aidan. I chose marriage based on love, not money. So,
Wow.
That is our fuck, marry, kill. Thank you both so much. Thank you so much for doing this podcast and watching this bizarre movie. Where can we find you online, Aidan O'Connor? Are you online? Are you on socials? Are you doing shows? What is happening?
Yeah, I am. You can follow me at Cute Girl from Party on Instagram. That's really my only social media. And then I perform at UCB on the last Wednesday of every month with on their mod sketch team night. I perform with the group Lasers. And check us out.
Pew, pew, pew. Lasers. I need to see you guys. That's great. That's great. Nicole Werth, where can we find you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at the little baby moon. And I've got a link tree up there, so you can also follow my improv team. I'm on with Aidan, class of 69. We're starting things back up. This spring, we're getting back into the shows. So yeah, you can follow us there.
Yay! I co-sign everything they just said. This is Podcast 616. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Podcast 616P3. That P3 stands for Press Play Productions. Press Play Podcasts. Help me, Michael. That P stands for Press Play Podcasts, our podcasting network that freely lets me talk about Madam Web whenever I want to. It's dangerous. Thank you to producer Michael. Producer Michael, if you want to hop on the mic real quick, what letter grade would you give this podcast that we just did?
The back weeks where people are losing their podcasts from 6 virginity, so A+.
Thank
you guys did great.
Thank you, Michael. Michael, will you go see this movie?
60-40. 60 no,
60.
40 yeah.
Wow,
60-40.
that's higher than I thought.
Well, good luck to you, Michael. And thank you for doing this podcast. Aidan, thank you. Nicole, thank you. And Cassandra Webb, thank you for letting us into your web of lies. I'm Damon Royster. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week. We're going to talk about the Venom movies. Ooh, that'll be fun. And yeah, until that time, please remember that with great power comes even greater responsibility.
Bye.